Today is surgery day, and if you're new around here, I've had some weird symptoms in my left hand over the past couple years, and it's gotten progressively worse the past few months, so much so that I'm seeing a hand ortho specialist. And the first consultation I had with him, he was honest. He's not very optimistic that we can fix it, but today we're gonna do our best. So what has happened is I've seen some clawing in my fingers over here, and then over the past few months, we've noticed that the muscle loss, there's been a lot of muscle loss in my hand, right in this area and then around my fingers. And when the doctor saw that, his concern was that the muscle has become atrophied, and it's been atrophied so long that the muscle's actually dead now. So today during the surgery, there are gonna be 3 parts to the surgery. The first part is they're gonna go into my wrist and unpinch the nerve. That's part 1. Part 2 is they're gonna go into my elbow and make sure that the nerve is free and clear there. So those 2 parts are happening no matter what. The third part is the part we're most hopeful about. They're gonna go into my wrist, they're gonna do some tests to see if the muscle is still firing and the muscle is still alive and active. And if so, they're gonna rewire some of the nerves there. And hopefully we're gonna be able to bring back the muscle in my hand. So 3 parts, 2 parts are happening no matter what. We'll see about that third part. I don't even wanna think about it, about the possibility that the muscle is dead. I'm only 33 years old. I'm an active person. I've got 3 kids, a 4th kid on the way. I've got a wife, multiple businesses to run, and I really don't want more bad health news. But let's go get this surgery done and see what happens. It's about 11:30 Thursday night, which Thursday was the day of the surgery. Surgery's obviously done. Got home around 1 o'clock. Very, very thankful for my in-laws. Want to give them a shout out. My mother-in-law was able to watch the kids. They both brought over dinner to help out my wife. They're amazing. I love them, and they're such a blessing. But as you can tell, I can't move my arm. I had a nerve blocker in my shoulder, so everything from my shoulder down is dead weight right now. My fingers feel weird, they're discolored, they're swollen, and I can't move them if my life depended on it. So it's very awkward. The doctor said that this should go away after about 24 hours. So hopefully tomorrow around lunchtime, I'll start to have feeling in my arm back. The surgery did not go the way we wanted it to. They were hoping to do 3 parts of the surgery. 2 of the parts were guaranteed. The third part was contingent on there still being muscle left in my hand that they could salvage. It was contingent on the muscle not being dead. And so when they got in there and opened things up and they did the test, the muscle was, or at least a large part of it was dead. So the harder, more difficult part of the surgery, they didn't do. There was no point to doing it, which is not the news I wanted. Not the news I wanted, right? Just proof that our bodies are fallen and the effects of sin on our bodies, right? This is not the way God intended us, but we live in a fallen world. Still hard, something my wife and I are gonna have to process. I didn't want to hear at 33 years old that the muscle in my hand was dead, so I'm just hopeful at this point we can keep it from getting worse. So anyway, short-term positive, since the hardest part of the surgery we didn't have to do. I won't need a brace, and I should start to be able to move my fingers and my wrist a little bit tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, we'll talk about rehab and what that looks like. My wife, bless her heart, she asked the doctor if I could still train for Hyrox, and he said yes, but I'm gonna need to take my training slow. He said there's gonna be a lot of pain in my arm and a lot of soreness in my arm and my wrist. So I need to really take my training slow, but he's optimistic that later this fall I could do an event. And that's definitely not at the top of the priority list, but since, I post about that stuff, I wanted to keep you guys informed. So this is my world right now. Setbacks are a part of life. We're going to get through this. I'm not going to bury it. It's tempting, but we'll deal with the pain. We'll move on. And we know that there's suffering is a part of our walk. And some people would say that's proof that God doesn't love us or God doesn't exist. And I don't agree with that. And I've gone through my fair share of suffering, but it doesn't make it any less painful. It still hurts. Not what I wanted, how I wanted the day to unfold, but we're going to keep walking. So need to go get some sleep, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. It's Friday morning. I didn't sleep great last night. I know that last clip I recorded around 11:30 at night, and then I went and tried to lay down in bed, but with my arm being, completely dead weight and just kind of obnoxious, it was a little challenging to fall asleep. I think I was up maybe even until 1 o'clock, which I'm the type of sleeper, once my head hits the pillow, 5 seconds later, I'm out. So anyway, it's been a pretty good start to the day. Got up, read my Bible, worked on my laptop in bed a little bit. Now I've moved over to the desk to edit some content, and then I'm going to go downstairs with my kids and just watch them play, be around my family, trying to rest in different places, but taking resting seriously. My body needs to rest. I need to keep it elevated, so trying not to push it too much. The good news is today I can move my fingers a little bit, and obviously I can move my arm a little bit. Yesterday, there was no moving anything. So that's the good news. The bad news is I'll start to feel the pain more and more. I can already feel the stitches in my lower wrist and towards my elbow. Right now, they don't hurt, but I'm very aware that they're there. So staying on top of the Tylenol, the Motrin, the medicines as needed, and so far so good. One of the promises that I hold on to in times like this, and that I've learned, is that God is always with us. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. I read Psalm 23 a lot in moments like this, and I just meditate on the fact that God promises to be with us as we walk through the valleys. However, he doesn't promise to take us out of the valleys. Those valleys are the hard times, the seasons that sometimes we're lonely. Sometimes they're just painful, and we question, why does it have to be this way? But he promises to be with us through the valley. He's with you, even when you're in pain, even when it doesn't feel like he's there. It feels lonely. You're like, where is God in all this? He's right. He's with you. Sometimes we just don't always hear him or feel that intimacy. So I just want to remind you of that. It's the most reassuring and comforting promise in all of Scripture for me as I walk through trials is he doesn't always take you out of the trial, but he is with you through it. And that has gotten me through some really hard, dark moments. And this moment right now is really not that hard compared to some of the other stuff I've gone through. And that's another thing about trials is if you take trials seriously and you lean into God to get through them, it prepares you more for future trials. So this isn't because AC is just some amazing person. No, it's just because I've learned I'm not amazing and I have to rely on God to get through this stuff. So it just becomes more like muscle memory of man, I need to lean on him and not me in these moments. So that's my 2 thoughts. I hope it helps you in your next trying season. It's Saturday afternoon. The nerve block wore off yesterday about noon. So the pain has been more intense. With that said, it's not terrible, but I can tell that my wrist and my palm and close to my elbow, it's gonna be pretty sensitive. One of the awesome parts about this, and one of my concerns was how was I gonna handle my ostomy? And I just changed my bag, so I have a fresh bag on. But my Armor Band, the product that I'm making, has been such a blessing. It's been so easy to use. It's been so comfortable. In fact, I've been sitting in bed, I've been working at my desk, and most of the time I just forget that I even have it on. So it's been fantastic. So I want to show you how easy it is to use. I've got it around my waist, which I could just step into. Since I only have one hand, I want to prove to you how easy this is. I've got one hand. I put that through the opening. We made sure that the opening has enough elasticity that you're not fighting with it. And then I like to wear mine sideways. Now, some people like to wear theirs vertical, some people wear theirs horizontal. My actual ostomy appliance is like diagonal. I don't wear it either. I wear it right in the middle. That way, it's got two advantages. When I want to put it on my band, I can just tuck it up a little bit, and now it's completely horizontal, and I am good to go. The other benefit to wearing it diagonal like that is when you want to go to the bathroom, you just let it hang out, gravity takes over, and now all of a sudden you're like this. So my belt is horizontal. However, when I put on the ostomy appliance itself, it's like a diagonal motion. But you saw how easy this was to manipulate everything with just one hand. So if you have any concerns that, hey, this is gonna be too difficult to use, too cumbersome, I'm basically one-handed right now. I'm using it, it's super comfortable. Imagine having two hands, how easy that would be. So the Armor Band, man, it's just further proof that we're onto something here. I'm so excited. Now I'm gonna go rest. It's Saturday night and my beautiful wife is so generous to help me, and we are taking off the dressing, and my palm has felt very tender, and I was expecting it to be bad, but I don't know if I was expecting it to be this bad. So this is my palm / wrist, and you can see it goes all the way there to the middle of my hand. It's pretty bad. And then I have right there on the middle of my forearm, which is, I don't know, about 2 inches. And then I have my elbow as well. So all 3 spots, but that's pretty gnarly. I mean, I don't know, it's about 4 or 5 inches long right there. All right, now we got to put the dressing back on.